Adina. I am Adina, the resident hostess with the mostest around here. And if this is your first time here, you just clicked on my channel because you found yourself browsing around YouTube. I am a medium. So that means I do divinations, necromancy, and I talk to the dead and the alive. And that is not everybody's cup of tea. So I invite you to leave gracefully with respect for yourself and respect for my community here. If you are curious or if you are kind to people like me in this type of work, welcome to Beyond the Veil and my very friendly and gracious community. I hope that you find yourself amongst like minds and kindred spirits. To all of my regular viewers and subscribers, blessed babies, and bush watchers, happy Wednesday, happy day of Mercury to all of you guys. Hello, Adorned. Hello, Erica. How are you guys doing this Wednesday? So happy to see you. I am sipping on Hennessy and Coke. So as you guys make yourselves in, I am going to, hey, Liv. I'm going to cheers to you guys and let you guys tell me how you're doing today. I'm good, in case any of you guys are about to ask. So get yourselves comfortable. I'm going to take a sip of this hen. What you about to cook, Erica? I just finished cooking. Yeah, I had heated up some leftover cabbage that I made Monday and some rice, and I thought I was going to fry some thin cut, thin sliced, center cut pork chops, but I ain't have enough flour. So I fried two and I baked six. I baked the other four in some onion and some bell peppers, and I made some rice and I made some hot water cornbread. I actually just finished eating because I didn't want to be starving and dying on this live. I wanted to make it through. And we're going to do a members live, so I had to eat. How's everybody doing? Ooh, chicken sausage and shrimp. That sounds good. You know what? I want someone to give me a good recipe. Like I can go online and find a recipe and make it, and I'm sure it'd be good. But I want somebody from deep in Louisiana to give me the OG original from the streets of Louisiana gumbo recipe, and that would make me so happy. That would make me so happy. Speaking of Louisiana, sliding in that Tesla, and I got that yeah on me. Y'all, I don't know why, but the spirit of NBA YoungBoy has been upon me all day. I was at the red light listening to shot callers today on my way to the meat store, shot calling, and I had the volume all the way up, sunroof sunroof open. I'm bouncing around. I look to the right and I see a police officer doing like the doing like I text my sister and said, "Get your employees because one of your sheriff employees is sliding a young boy with me at a red light. Give him a bonus." All right. Well, welcome to Current Events Wednesday, where I choose some current events to do some divinations on. And as my title in this video says, what in the Don Julio lemonade with ice is going on here? Hello, Mama Fakit. So I thought about taking two different topics to look into, but then I thought, well, because somebody asked me a couple lives ago to look into ice, and at the moment I was like, I kind of really don't want to. Ice is going to do what ice does, and that's walk them down. So I didn't see any point in looking into them, but in light of current events with Don Lemon and some protesters, um, protesting inside of a church service. And they did that because they believe that the pastor of the service is an ICE agent. And so that's what the headlines say. Now, before I begin, let's just get me out of the way. But when I say my personal opinion, chances are I'm going to see some of my personal opinion in the reading, because I usually don't care about these things. But when I see it and I think something, then that's usually my spidey senses telling me what it is. And when I watched the clips of that event, you know what I thought? I've never seen a more staged situation. I mean, I've seen more, but this is what a theater show. This is it. Even the footage, the footage that I saw, even that looked very like documentary, like reality show. The camera that was recording gave me reality show camera or documentary camera or something. I was like, wait, is this supposed to be real when I first saw it? So, anyways, that's just what I got to say initially. Nevertheless, I am going to put my thoughts to the side and see what the spirit said, because of course I could be wrong, and I sometimes I'll read things and I'll be like, what? I am blown. I would have never knew. So it could be one of those situations. And I do have a reason for saying my initial thought, and my members would understand why. Because 6 days ago, after that live I did that night, 6 days ago, I went and pulled some cards because there was something on my heart. After that live that night, there was something on my heart that I needed to ask my spirits and look into. And I shared what I saw with my members, and I gave them a prediction. And I even posted today how that what that looks like, my post from 6 days ago, what I shared with you guys, in light of the current events, you guys can understand now what I was saying. And for me to say it was all a theater show, I'm going to say that, what if someone to say what motive would it be? In my opinion, I believe that the everyday average person isn't aware of just how much everyday things are really, if you aren't spiritual or whatever, I would say, an energetic battle. And then for those who are spiritually aware, I would say in these days it's more of a spiritual battle than maybe any other time. Because, okay, well, anyways, I'm going to get into Don Lemon in this situation with the protesters protesting inside of a church because they believe that the pastor doubles as an ICE agent. And then I'm actually going to look and see what ICE, why it was conceived, and what their purpose is, and what the future is for ICE and the United States citizens. So we'll start with Don Julio Lemonade. Shout out to everybody just joining me. I am sipping Hennessy and Coke. Cheers to you. I got to pour the libations out into the soil for the ancestors who reside in me. I feel like doing a Bobby Hemmett. Osiris, Ashe. Oya, Ashe. Poseidon, Ashe. Isis, Ashe. Nefertiti, Ashe. Ashe. I do too, Erica. I do too. OG body. Erica, Ashe. Rosetta, Ashe. Kyrie MacArthur, Ashe. Rashawn Bauman, Ashe. Donald Franklin, Ashe. Liv Saturn, Ashe. Mama Fakit, Ashe. Erica Gooch, Ashe. YouTube, Ashe. All right. Most High Mother and Father God, Ashe. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this beautiful day of Mercury, which I love. Actually, I have an affinity for Mercury. And thank you for all of these people for joining me. Thank you for YouTube for hosting me. And thank you to the spirits for allowing me. Please allow me to, okay, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and the collective energy of Don Lemon. Don Lemon, spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Don Lemon. Paymon, Ashe. Can't forget. Just recently got myself properly acquainted with them, and my promise was to give him public recognition. So actually, let me do it the right way. Paymon, Ashe. Berif, Ashe. That's for tomorrow. All right. Don Lemon, Ashe. Come, 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 Don, my good Judy. You know it's Don when you see them two fingers touching. He's just a real bad bitch. All you hoes is ugly. You know it's Don when you see them two fingers touching. Gigi, Ashe. I don't have on makeup. I have on eyebrows and lips. You're welcome. What you see is youth and skin and good health. Don Lemon, what's currently going on with you in this church protest situation? The goddess of Department of Homeland Security has approached out of the shadows of the cabinet of Trump administration and come to the forefront to say, we will dig up a Klan act to throw either you or some of these people in the slammer. And you probably are feeling like, excusez-moi. I know you guys aren't coming for me. I didn't have anything to do with this. I was just doing my job and reporting on the news. Thank you. Now clock that. So, what is your involvement in this church protest situation? Were you just reporting on the news innocently because you just stumbled upon this protest? And what will be the outcome of this for you? The people say that you might go to jail. I don't see it because all of this looks staged, fake, and phony, just like my opinions and this reading. None of this is fact. All of this is for entertainment purposes. Thank you. But you tell me from your spirit and your soul, and keep absolutely nothing hidden from me. I compel you, Don Lemon, to speak your soul's truth. Tell me the God's honest truth. What is going on with this church situation, and will you or anybody else that was involved do any time? So currently, Don, in my opinion, is trying to distance or disassociate himself from the involvement. But the problem with this is that there is a connection. So he has a relationship with one of the organizers, apparently or allegedly. And I suppose they let him know that the protest was going to be happening. So he decided to bring his cameras along and follow and report the news. However, now that it seems like there's some trouble and the lover's card is a Gemini card and we have a Gemini president, now that his administration is involved, Don is saying, I ain't got, my name is Bennett, not Don, and I ain't in it. And here's the president, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra male, but in this case, Gemini. Gemini. So his challenge is the Trump administration, and he seems to be a target of them. In the past, there was conversations. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna say that. The past position is because they believe this pastor here was really an agent, somebody that's associated with the Trump administration, but he's acting as if he's a pastor, using spirituality, the water here, as a platform, the ground here, to do the good Lord Trump's work. Possibly spy on congregation members, and then one day they're busted. That could be what these protesters were believing about this pastor. In the near future, there will be continued conversations about Don Lemon and continued accusations and threats from and possibly towards the Trump administration for kind of singling him out, so to speak, when he feels like there were the organizers is who they should be coming after. Crowning him, he was aware that it was going to be kind of an ambush. And the other problem is that it would have been okay if they never went inside of the church. So below, they wanted to confront that pastor. It wasn't really about, in my opinion, harming or bothering the congregation members. They wanted to get their hands in the mics and the attention on the pastor. To be honest, because this is in his current action and advice um, position, I'm going to say that I do not believe that he is really that concerned about being in trouble for real, for real. Also, I wonder what his husband, who I know that he's married to a white man, but where's his husband in all of this? I don't know if his husband is a public person or not, but I'm just curious. External to his personal situation here, I suppose, how people see the situation, the people believe that Don Lemon was at least aware that this event was going to take place. And whether some people agree with his actions or not, I think everybody probably knows or believes, everybody kind of might agree that he was tipped off. His hopes and fears, honestly, I don't think he fears anything in this situation. The Empress, the Department of Homeland Security Director, he's not going to jail, in my opinion. This is a show. And I say that because I was looking for a stage card, which in the tarot gives off a little bit of theatrics. It means the situation isn't all that it seems. The only stage card that I have, and I was actually starting to think, well, this actually might be real to him, is in his hopes and fears, where I said, I don't see him really being afraid of anything. This is the stage card. This isn't concrete. Notice that border in front of the grass? So, what they're standing on is a stage. Every other card here has literal ground, except for the Three of Swords because it's in the air. But everything else is real, so to speak, except his hopes and fears. And so that's why I said I don't see him fearing anything out of this situation. And in this regard, I do think because he has nothing to fear. It's a theatrics. And I think it was in order to activate Department of Homeland Security. And Department of Homeland Security, for those of you who might be high and forgot, it's with Homeland Security. So walk light, my people. Walk light. I'm going to start with his hopes and fears. The Six of Pentacles. The fear of nothing. Now, this is his same-sex relationship because it's a Two of Cups in reverse. Who is his husband? Does anyone know who Don Lemon's husband is before I Google it? This seems to, it's not going to go to any trial or anything like that. In this regard, it's not going to come into any final conclusions. It's just going to always be a thing, a conversation that maybe people can use when they want to enact some new laws against the citizens, like the director of the Department of Homeland Security mentioned arresting people with a Ku Klux Klan law. So, in the event that the United States government does something and the people decide to protest, like utilize ICE, and the people already don't like that, but when ICE is out doing ICE and the people might decide to protest, they can lock people up with a Ku Klux Klan law that they've dug up from the crypts of the cabinets of the Library of Congress, I guess, wherever they keep archive laws. Who is Don Lemon's husband? Nobody put it in the chat, so I guess everybody is asleep or everybody is a troll. One second, I have to Google it. Don Lemon's husband. Tim Malone. He's a real estate broker. New York. His husband has some connections with, let me see in this advice position, his husband. His husband has some connections. But not saying that his husband's connections is getting him off. So to speak, his husband's connections might be involved in the coordinating of things in some way. And this is just me looking into the cast of this theater show, and to me that doesn't really matter. It looks like a theater show to me, and I don't think he has any real concern about getting in any real trouble other than just getting blasted all the time. In my opinion, this event is going to be used to dig up, like I said, some political, dig up some political laws that they might need to use in the future on the citizens. And I say that because this is the director of the Department of Homeland Security, in my opinion. Let me see why she's here. Now, I've been privately reading some things to myself, and I won't say exactly what, but it's kind of related to this because it has something to do with the country that I live in, which means the United States. And this has come out in the near future and the outcome several times of several different things that I've looked into privately. So let me look into her. There are things that are getting ready to happen that will be outside of the citizens' control, as a lot of things have been since this in empire. I almost said I almost said empire when I was getting ready to say administration, but no, I'm going to roll with empire. Since this empire kind of went into another gear, there are going to be some things that will be forced upon, in my opinion, the citizens. And they are coming because this car has to be driven in a certain direction, and it's coming. In my opinion, they have collected enough oil to where they can kind of focus again on things at home rather than abroad. The other weekend, my mom called and was like, "Girl, go to the Circle K. Gas is 40 cent off." And the first thing that came to my mind was Venezuela. And I thought, no, actually, I don't even really need to fill up my tank right now. So no, I can fill it up later. And I rolled past the gas station today, and the cheapest gas I saw was 290 or something like that. And so since we kidnapped Venezuela, I've noticed the gas prices here drop, and it kind of made me sad, but that's out of my control. I'ma still need gas, but power to the innocent Venezuelans, because we definitely robbed them and brought that shit back home. So now they can focus on their own citizens and using laws, in my opinion, against them. And a lot of that is going to come from the Department of Homeland Security, in my opinion. So keep your eyes open for them in that, and walk light, you guys. Look, he's tiptoeing. Walk light, like I said in the beginning. Because these laws that he's carrying back here are supposed to be his fellow soldiers. But he has disarmed them by stealing their swords while they were caught unawares, because he made a secret deal with the ops. So he stole his own soldiers' swords so that they could be used against them. Walk light. The Lovers and Don Lemon's present position. All of that is just for entertainment purposes and according to my crazy ass imagination, you guys. I've been sipping Hennessy and smoking the devil's lettuce. I'm out of my mind. I'm crazy. The Lovers. This is the protest. These are the protesters and the pressure that they were putting on the situation. But in my opinion, the pastor, they were really, and this is him, and I say him because he's in this regard. I'm just going to say, okay, this is him. And he is kind of saying, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. I'm not an activist. I wasn't involved in the planning of it. All right. Challenge here, I believe, is the president and his administration. The Sun, a civil rights law that they needed to dig up and reintroduce, bring to the light. Because of, in my opinion, something that they're getting ready to do, introduce against the citizens. Here it is. It was on the bottom. Now it's here. Behind the king's sword. And in my opinion, this will be used amongst brown and brownish people. You see those sunflowers there? Sunflowers are akin to the sun. You know what's also akin to the sun? Melanin, black, brown, earth tone, things that get more rich in pigment as they are exposed to the sun, who are actually innocent, but will be the sacrificial. And religion, because the general public is still the fool in reverse. And I always say the fool upright ain't no damn fool. The fool in reverse is a damn fool. It always works when you want to bring about a new permanent change. A tried and true method to success on, to be honest, sheep. Religion. I'm just saying, because the pastor literally told Don Lemon, I have to go and tend to my flock. When I heard that, I said, well, if that's what they are, then that's what they are. That's not an insult if they're okay with their pastor referring to them as flock. Let's look up the word flock. Flock etymology. Old English again. Why we all talking Old English? My goodness. But its origin is unknown. The original sense was a band or body of people. This became obsolete, but has been reintroduced as a transferred use of the sense, a number of animals kept together. Flock is a noun, plural noun, flocks. A number of birds of one kind feeding, resting, or traveling together. A number of domestic animals, especially sheep, goats, or geese, that are kept together. And large crowds of people. A group of children or students in someone's charge. A Christian congregation or body of believers, especially one under the charge of a particular minister. Well, so that's that. All right. Let me see what some of these changes are that are getting ready to come. Let's see if I can see what they are. And then I'll wrap this up and then look at ice. Ice, ice, baby. Ooh, I see a strong harm and a way to temper a growing angry people. So this is the people. Ah, we're mad. Roar, we're mad. And we're strong in number. In number, we become a lion. But old Lady Liberty knows how to tame that lion. It's the way they've always done it. Generation after generation after generation, just a continuous loop of knowing how to tame an angry people. How are they going to tame those angry people? Religion. Oh my. Religion and politics. Or in my opinion, yes, because the King of Cups is a minister, a politician, a musician. Religion and politics. That will be used against its own people, in my opinion, to either utilize laws against them or create laws against them. Now, remember that Seven of Swords? This is the situation where it began. Actually, it began at the 2, but this is when his 5 other comrades got drunk. That's the story. The story is that they got drunk in the tent, or they were having a meeting in the tent. Either got drunk, or they had a meeting first, and then all the soldiers got drunk and passed out asleep. So back here, what you probably can't see, but back there, those are the 5 soldiers. And you see he's holding 5 swords. So this is the point where he collected them. So you have to walk light, because religion and politics is going to, in my opinion, merge together in a way to betray somebody here. And in the story of the 7 of Swords, a soldier betrays his own soldiers, by waiting until they were caught off guard and unawares, stealing their swords because he made a pact. That's the 2. 2s are agreements between 2 parties. You see the 2 there? So because of that agreement that he made behind his head, so behind his back and their backs, he has to steal their swords and deliver them to the ops so that the ops can use them against his soldiers. And if this is new to you, you're already way, way, way behind, because this has been gradually happening for decades. It's just the time is ripe now to put the rest of the plan. See, this is the 7 of Pentacles. The time is ripe. The harvest is ripe to pluck the rest of the 6 of Pentacles. Now, where do we see the 6 of Pentacles? In Don Lemon's Hopes and Fears, where I said he isn't afraid of anything because this is all a show. All right, so that's Don. Shout out to Don. All right, let's sip the Hennessy, and then let's just take a look at Ice and see what they're about to do, because somebody asked me last week about it, and I kind of brushed it off, but here we are. Maybe that person who asked me was Ice, trying to figure out what they should or shouldn't do. I don't know, because you know these people is cheap, and they don't be wanting me to know that they're a fan, but they don't mind me knowing that they surveil. They're like, listen, we'll use you, but employ you? No. And I would do a reparation fee consultation for the U.S. government. Listen, I'm just the oracle here. But there will be a hefty reparation fee. Abso-freaking-lutely. But hey, I'll ask me what you want to know, and I'll tell you. Healthy. Okay? Healthy. Healthy. Now, I'm talking about obese reparation fee. But I'll do it. All right. So, Ice Baby. Let me click. Where's my Florida water? I don't really need it for ice. God dog it. I hate when I do this to myself. I don't need it for ice, but maybe some Isis incense might set the mood. She gonna call me baby boo. I'm sorry, I get so distracted so quickly. Hands on your knees, twerking for me, find in the mother. Now watch me wop, 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 wop. I've been flipping an hour from that know ya. I've been flipping and dipping and sipping into an hour from that know ya. Listen, let me get to an NBA YoungBoy concert. Y'all gonna find out who a YN that day. Auntie need to be there. Listen, let me tell y'all um how I know that a YN NBA YoungBoy got voodoo in it. Let me tell you how I know. Because every now and then I'll get this random urge to go on Instagram and go in the search bar and then type in NBA YoungBoy concerts because they be so lit. And I like to watch the audience and the crowd. And I did that today, and for an hour and a half. An hour and a half. I completely lost myself. I completely lost myself in the energy from his concerts. It was so addicting. And then when I finally snapped out of it, I was like, bitch, get up. I let somebody woo me if it feel good, but bitch, get up. I didn't even realize how much time flew by. I had to go to the store and run some errands. When I got in the car, I turned on YoungBoy. That's how the police officer caught me at the red light, and he was doing like he was doing like this because I was all in the car. He doing like this, and I'm I'm busting at the steering wheel. And I weed all the way home. I was like, this got some dope in it. This got some voodoo in it. And shit, that's fine. As long as it don't hurt me. But I was like, listen, I need to be there in the crowd with the YNs and the YGs. I need to be there. I need to because I'm a millennial and we created, in my opinion. Y'all ain't get a chance to see us in the club, but it was very much like that. At the regular clubs, it was very much like an NBA YoungBoy concert. So I was like, man, now that's my kind of shit. Listen. Okay, that was a side note. Okay, this is Isis incense that I'm burning. I'm just setting the mood because I'm about to read Ice, and I just got to get some goddess energy going up in here so that their energy knows who and what this is around here and who run team. Scared of his fans. You ain't scared of all his fans because I'm one. And I be just like them. Just like them. I swear, when they come on in the gym, I turn into Shrek. Fuck the Hulk. I turn into Shrek. Oh my God. Oh my God. I be throwing them weights. Y'all should just see me when a certain young boy. Oh my God. Just the energy. Man, I go from tired and struggling to let me put some more weights on this bitch. I feel so strongly about myself. Okay, I need to put this out because it's choking me. Excuse me, y'all. Ooh. Too much of his energy it's too much for me. I mean, too much of it is too much. I had today I found out that you can't let it suck you in. You can't let it suck you in. You gotta cut that energy because it will suck you in. And listen, and he's so handsome. I'm not trying to be one of his baby mamas, but he's so handsome. He reminds me of one of my little cousins, and I just love a little lit YN. Shout out to the YNs. Not that I want one like that, but shout out to the YNs. You know what I'm saying? You know, Auntie will fix y'all a plate and tell you about which one of these bitches not to mess with, even though you're gonna do it anyway, and which one you should, and spend your money. Aunties is good for when you got rich nieces and nephews. You gotta run that TT tax. And you know, you can always come by TT house and crash. You know, it's a guest yeah, like that, but not. Yes, that was the ISIS incense. It was getting strong. Of course he does woo. He from Louisiana. Everybody do woo out there, baby. Ain't it? Everybody do woo in Louisiana, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't playing when I said that, girl. When I said it's voodoo in it, yeah, I meant that. But I don't mind. I don't mind it. It's harmless to me. Everybody died in the bayous, do woo, baby. All right, ice, ice, baby. Louisiana, Ashe. See, I mean, y'all done seen me possessed before my members have. So I had to control it though, because I told y'all I had to stop it because otherwise y'all would have seen me in another way. Ain't no telling I might have struck butt booty naked and had no recollection of it until I snapped back into it and because some of them will play with you like that. And I run team around here, so. Okay, all right. Most High Mother and Father God, when it comes to the citizens of North America, or I will say the residents of North America, the inhabitants of the continent of North America, and the relationship, whether we want to call it a relationship or not with ICE, a one sided relationship with ICE, in my opinion, in the recent future, I have seen, and in the current, I have seen the Department of Homeland Security and the energy surrounding the United States. We already have ICE in the streets, and it's my opinion that they were created to kind of be the militia for these changes. But that's my opinion. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of the agency, the U.S. government agency, ICE. I would like to see what was at their inception. Why were they conceived? Why were they sent out as a plague of locusts amongst the United States people, the people who live on this continent? Why? And what will they be doing in the future in conjunction with, in my opinion, the Department of Homeland Security? What will ICE be doing next to the people? We know what they do. So, what's phase next of the ICE and the U.S. government agenda as it relates to their own people? Because ICE deals with citizens of this nation. Here they are, the enforcers, the invaders, the militia. This is ICE because they deal with immigration and things like that, deportation, and but also force, power by sheer will and force. This is a Cancer card, though, and Cancer is a very domestic sign. It rules the fourth house in astrology, which is the domestic house. So the problem with the Chariot, though, is that it works by force. Sure, pure will and force. That's how it succeeds, through will and force. I will enforce would be a proper phrase for, or proper quote for the Chariot. I will enforce. That's how you can sum up the Chariot, so to speak. Another thing that I want to point out is the Cancer element. Despite how they might feel despite how some of these human beings, these ICE agents who are human beings, and before they became ICE, I don't, whatever other jobs they may have, they might have been regular people, regular citizens who probably, you know, however they might feel about what they're doing, which tells me not all of them wholeheartedly agree with what they're doing, but I will enforce. So some of them, in my opinion, are having to die to their conscience in order to do their jobs. And what that is selling your soul in a way. Not in a way, that's what it is. The challenge is the agenda. Yep, yep, Liv, yep. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. Betraying themselves, their families, their neighbors, their friends who are normal people and are probably looking at them like, John, how could you? Carlos is our favorite lawn guy. Maria does such an excellent job with the Smiths. I how could you? The problem is the plan and agenda is in place by an emperor, a merchant who became an emperor, so a businessman who became an emperor, somebody who was supposed to lead this White House, this White Castle here, stone. What could they gain? You know what, when you ask me that, Liv, what I notice here across their chests? The square. These are robots. In the act of duty or obligation, they are slowly becoming cold-blooded, at least the ones that had a conscience. They are supposed to feel nothing, hearts of stone, which means their job is to take orders for the greater good of the Aryan nation, in my opinion. These are Klansmen, in my opinion. What do they gain? A future where they benefit. You know how Moses sent the soldiers into the promised land? And, all of them inherited, all of the soldiers who helped them gain the promised land became great in the promised land. They got great portions. You get to heaven and, you bomb yourself, but when you get to heaven, you'll have 12 virgins and a mansion. In my opinion, these are people that didn't have that much of a conscience anyway to begin with. So, in my opinion, some of them would have did it without any gain. Some of them are there for the enjoyment. You know how many potential serial unalivers join police forces and the military, sign up for active duty, volunteered to go out there and fight. I mean, because they could live out their wildest dream and fantasy under the badge of honor and justice and heroism. They'll be celebrated amongst their fellow brethren for their bravery and honor. You go to a Klan rally and you see how many of them, you do they get paid in the Klan, or do they do that for the purpose, the cause? They ain't getting paid in Klan rallies. They proud to say how many bodies they came back with. You get stripes. Past position. While the focus was overseas, ICE kind of held things at bay, or they kind of were, I don't want to say low key, but the focus for the administration, in my opinion, had been overseas. But the focus now is, in the future, back to the people, back to the U.S. And There seems to be plans here in the challenging position. These are plans that will be carried out because the person who has the ability to do it has the ability to do it and is the doing it type. He's the type to do it. He ain't the talking type. He the doing it type. Crowning ice is surveillance, in my opinion. And not just surveillance, but this is, yes, this is surveillance. This is surveillance. This is the moment of surveillance before you act. Knowing what you're about to do, but there's a small pause before you do it. That's what this is. So I think that they've kind of, I think that since they came out, they kind of died down just a tad bit, at least in the public. But I think another full force, another full wave of ice is on the horizon, in my opinion. This is surveillance. Before they attack, they have to go underground and do some surveillance so that they can find the people that they want to go and grab. Mm-hmm. 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 Their advice is this, and this is my unalive card. So this is their advice. In my opinion, that woman, they did that to show that they had the power to do that and that it would happen again. Doing it, it being recorded, and then supported by the president, the head sword in charge, was to show that these people have the authority to do so and they are not above doing it again. In fact, that may have been one of their orders when they do these raids. You are able to do this. There are also a lot of people who snitch, in my opinion. A lot of Caucasian people who snitch for no reason. Not because they've had a bad experience, but because it's the same thing that happened back in the days of the Klan when they all stuck together. These are Karens, but all of, not just the women, men, all of them. If they are on their way to a grocery store and they see a group of a certain people, they might, oh my God, honey, I don't know. It's just really bothering me. I think we should do something about it because you just never know if they could be criminals. I'm not that type of person. I really do love, Black Lives Matter, Mexican Lives Matter. It's just, they say if you see something, and next thing you know, hey, I'm not sure if it's anything. I'm not sure if it's anything or if anybody is, undocumented. I'm sure everyone has all their paperwork and everybody's fine. But, I was riding by on my way to Kroger's, my husband and I, and we had the dog in the back and our grandson with us. And we passed by a Walmart and we noticed a charter bus. And the charter bus says New Mexico, but it was a bunch of, I'm not racist or anything like that. So I don't know what the politically correct word is to call them, but the undocumented, they look like those groups of people. And they weren't, I can't say that they were doing anything. It just, I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure what else to do. So I thought to give you guys a call, but you know what? I should have never called you guys. I should have never. I'm sorry to waste your time. Look, giving a solid tip about where to find them ethnic brown, gold colored people. Hey, I saw them out in a field. And I know that most of the undocumented ones work out there in the fields, and I'm sure they have all their paperwork. But my son, he was a veteran, and he actually served in Iraq. And some of the things he saw out there, some of the things he said they did to him, he's had PTSD. So we're a patriotic family. Hopes and fears is orders from the boss. Whatever the boss says. For that to be in their hopes and fears, some of these men, even though they're well on their way to being completely disassociated and desensitized, maybe some of the newer agents or some of the ones who really struggle with, some of these men are struggling. And that's so sad. That's so sad. Good luck, you guys. Because the outcome of ICE is doing exactly what they are meant to do, what they were created to do, and they will not fail. I'm not saying they will last forever, but for what their purpose is, they will not fail. And their purpose is wands. Wands in my deck are colored people. However, because the Five of Wands is behind the Six, the Five of Wands in this deck means diverse people, people of diversity. So, oh, and just brown diversity, just melanated diversity. They might pluck one or two of their own to make it look away, but the goal, and I'm going to say in the future, since they'll be going for a diverse group, you coloreds, they're not looking to deport you because you've been here. You're just as much citizens as they are. So for the Mexicans and Hispanics that they pick up, they deport them. What you think they're gonna do to you? They got beef with Africa. So I don't see them setting up a situation where they deport to Africa. Even though Africa is currently opening up, various countries in Africa is currently opening up citizenship and dual citizenship and making it very easy for the diaspora. I personally know. They're not going to ship you guys on a plane back. Otherwise, when they saw Ghana in 2019 doing the year return, Benin, myafroorigin.com, you can go on there and start your application. Sierra Leone, they would have been set up some sort of agreement where they would at least promote it to the US citizens and say, hey, you ninjas can go home if you like. We won't even make it hard on you like we did in 1920s with Marcus Garvey. They wanted us to leave, we'd have been gone. In the 20s, in the Back to Africa movement. But it was sabotaged and Garvey wasn't he taken out? So this isn't their advice. These people, they know they came from across the border. We've been here with them though. They brought us with them. So, and didn't we just drop a bomb on Nigeria amongst other people? You think they gonna say, all right, I'll just play it. I was just playing. All right, all right. I'm gonna send them on home. We can work this out. I was just playing with you. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. No. So that's that's why I said walk light. But you know who needs to walk lighter? Maybe not within the next year, but soon, ninjas. Let me start with the outcome. All of this is my opinion though, but uh, uh, they're starting out with the others, the ones that are easier to get out. They just, hey, you speak of Espanol. That means you supposed to be over there. Sending them back. He don't even care which part of Espanol they come from. You speak Spanish? Mexican. Mexico, come get them. They don't care if you're Cuban or not. They're gonna put you on a one-way boat to Mexico. They don't care. Because it's just the beginning though. And to be honest, I'm not saying that this is a test, but even though this is a real part of the plan, it also is a part of the plan because they need to inch it. They need to ease these changes in to see how the ninjas are going to act because we're always the ones to be the Jesus. We're the Messiah for everybody in every cause. Okay? We is Jesus. Okay? That's why y'all need to get up off y'all knees because the only person standing in front of y'all right now while you on your knees praying to the Lord is this person. You is the Jesus. Ain't no moves made without checking with the ninjas. None. Good, bad, ugly, political, cultural, entertainment, scientific, medical, you name it. You name it. We're the most rebellious. And in their history with us, they know that they've had to walk light too. So they've had to do things through laws and religion. Because if they just outright attack the ninjas, might be a problem. Might be a NBA YoungBoy concert. You know, they don't come in there. They don't go in them concerts. They might though, because NBA just made a song called Massa, but they ain't gonna come in there. They just won't. Even if they know ain't nobody in the arm. Y'all pull up some concert clips and see them YNs in there, eyes wide open, beaming. I seen somebody in there that I know was on coke and pills. I know. And somebody made a comment and said, mind you, he's 42. Man was in the front row beaming to YoungBoy. I said, Lord, I know coke when I see it. I know cocaine and pills when I see it. I ain't never did either one, but I know it when I see it. I bet y'all do. So if we were to get YoungBoy, see, Trump knew what he was doing, pardoning YoungBoy and becoming an ally with YoungBoy because he's seen all that motion that young man had and the way his fans bring all their anger and passion and rage out to these concerts. He said, no, we need him on the team because he got too much fluence. He's the YN Michael Jackson. If he were to cause or influence people to really rage about their frustration and pains with the government, the law, being locked up, harassed by the police, being on all that kind of stuff, he say, "No, let me throw a couple bones at this young man. You need a pardon? You need a pardon? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't. You said they blackballed you? Don't worry about that. I got that. I got that. I got that. Don't worry about nothing. Nothing." And the good thing about it is, YoungBoy do woo, because I feel like Trump needed him. So shout out to the woo lady or the woo man, because I don't think this administration even want to piss YoungBoy off with all his influence. Child. So the ninjas, the other people that they are deporting and things like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's. But they need to isolate the blacks because when they start running down, walking down on them, they don't need no other races that's been oppressed like them, joining them in the fight and in the struggle. It's strength in numbers now. So let's pluck off any potential allies. hmm And let's keep an eye on how the blacks respond because you know they will fight for anybody. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, let's start small. Pages. Let's start small. We don't want them to have any friends, any allies. This is the friends card. This is the ally card. We don't want them to have any. So let's pluck them off. Send away the Mexicans, all the Hispanicans. Not the Cubans though. Not the Cubans. The Cubans can stay because you know they want us at this point. They want us. The Dominicans want to be one of us, but they too dark. So we don't accept them, no matter how much they beg. Nobody from Brazil. Just Sudamerica. The Mexicans is like the ninjas in the US, though. We get along with them too well. So let's get rid of them first and destabilize them from having a minority power play. Ciao. Ninjas. Keep your head on a swivel. That's what Big Mama for when y'all don't see the play. Y'all seen Kamala at Martin Luther King, the Lorraine Hotel. If that wasn't another theater show, I'm gonna act out what I saw. Maybe I saw an AI clip, but in my mind, it literally looked like she went up there, looked at the dough. I don't. She didn't do this, but this is what she might as well looked at the dough, put a hand on it, drop a head, turn around, make sure the cameras get her looking real. That's what it might as well have been because that's what it looked like to me. The way she looked at the door and then turned around and then the camera they didn't miss her have that. Oh, they killed my homie. They done killed my homie. Damn. I was like, get the hell from down there. Kamala, ain't you got some greens in the bathtub, the base? Girl, get from down there. Tell me, she might as well have had a cigarette and some cognac and poured it out over the balcony. I was like, girl. Ninjas, this is what I want y'all to be looking for. Be careful, y'all. All right. No, they like us now, though. I bet you they like us right now, Erica. I bet you they like us right now because they want us to freedom fight for them. They just need the right moment. Oh, and in my opinion, that pastor is what they say he is, in my opinion. Him leading his flock. Now, this is a dog, but it's a sheep in this regard. In my opinion, that man is what they say he is, an ice baby. I think that pastor of that congregation is. And at any given moment, his congregation. Now, see, this is the pastor leading his flock right off a cliff. that they willingly follow. This is Don Lemon running up in there. But that was an illusion because they need Christianity, which is the vehicle of white power. Don't act like y'all don't know. And Christians, y'all, in the near future, don't start trying to say, I don't practice that kind of Christianity. We practice different. No, 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 no. When I said the wheat and the tares was being separated, no, no, no. That is the kind. It's the same kind. I promise you, at its roots, it's the same kind. It's the same one. Your pastor was just too busy hitting y'all with this and the drums in the back and the organs. And y'all was catching the Holy Ghost off of music fallacies and lies. We was too busy being entertained instead of preaching the truth. They should have taught y'all the language that it was written in so you can start knowing that it was all a lie. But they know that they can recite one verse and then preach a whole sermon like this off of it. All they had to do was give you a little motivation, like Kelly Rowland, to keep you going. And then the band comes in. And then they lock the door. And then they pass the plate around. And y'all be so worked up and hyperventilated that you don't even realize that you've been duped, that you've been lied to, that you've been bewildered. Mods, lock the fucking doors. Mods. Oh, somebody said pass the plate. Say fucking less. Mods, lock my doors. Come on now. I'm spilling herbs and shit. See how easy that is? See how easy that was? And look, somebody's saying hallelujah. See how easy that is? All you gotta do is be able to sing a little bit and have a little throat and a little gasp and be quick on the mind and slick on the tongue. Come on now, saints. That's all you gotta do. And now y'all know that I would never bewilder y'all because I'm telling all the tea. JD for the shoot y'all if y'all don't put something in that plate. Come on, Baptist. Come on, saints. Let me put my napkin over my cup and slide it. Ooh, come on, saints. Come through, saints. All right. No, but for real. So to all the members of that congregation, if any of them really are, I actually think that whole thing was a charade. I don't know, but Christianity will be the vehicle that they will be using to pass white power laws because they are coming back to reclaim not just their founding nation in the days that it was founded on, but also the religion that they brought with them. They protested against England from their rulership and their religion. And who did they choose? Hitler. Because you know what? Bible has been the go-to version of the word in the United States. The King James has been in every hotel, whole room. It's been in every church house. It's been in every hospital chapel. That King James Bible. Now, King James Martin Luther King. Who was he? King James, the Protestant leader of the church, is what it came up as. No, I didn't ask you for that. King James, James the Sixth, or the something, IV is four, so six, of Scotland, was a Protestant leader who united the Scottish and England crowns. Scottish and England established Protestantism as the state religion in both realms and commissioned the famous King James Version of the Bible to bridge theological divides, not to bring salvation to the nation. It was to bridge theological divides. I said some people said yay, and some people said nay. And so the King James, the Scottish, Irish, English man said, I know what to do. I'll be the glue. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He said, let me find something to make these people meet in the middle grounds. Let me make some up. Acting, okay, and commissioned the famous King James Version of the Bible to bridge theology. Now, did your pastor tell you that that Bible that y'all believe came from the Black Jesus, came from of Scotland? A Protestant leader that was Scottish? I, who said that? And he commissioned the famous King James Version of the Bible to bridge theological divides, acting as a moderate but firm head. Because, in order to make people believe, you got to be firm. You can't just let them believe on their own and have their own relationship. You got to be a moderate but firm when you're dealing with slaves and flocks. When you got a flock to lead, because they can't lead themselves, you got to be firm with them. That's what you do with sheep. He asserted the divine right of kings. He asserted the divine right of kings. Like this guy, who would then use Christianity because it asserts the divine right as kings to do what kings do, and that's rule their empire. You see why Christianity is mainstream? And even down to Belgalis Almazar has recently decided that she was saved in the past few years. Now everything was in the name of Jesus. I'm anointed in the name of Jesus. We all knew Nicki Minaj was filled with the Holy Ghost, but y'all ain't heard Cardi B saying that recently. I am anointed in the name of Jesus. My throat mourns for hers all the time. When she gets upset, I be like, no, wait, no, your throat. My throat literally hurts. That's why I don't listen to any of her rants, because my throat will start hurting. I just be wanting to drop a cough drop. Just as soon as she open it to yell, just flick a cough drop right in there, just to soothe, a Ricola, the honey lemon one, just to soothe your throat. This Jesus, though, Scottish Jesus, right? King James asserted the divine right of kings, maintaining the Church of England structure, but seeking religious stability through compromise and moderation. That sounds like politics, ain't it? It does to me. Despite facing Puritan demands for further reform and Catholic plots like the gunpowder plot, that sounds very violent. I ain't never been to a voodoo ceremony, Vodun, Ifa, Santeria, none of those that have people plotting with gunpowder amongst each other. What in the colonization is that? Key aspects of King James Protestant leadership. Head of the church as the King of England. So he was the king, which is why he gave divine rights to the king. That sounds like a power play. And it sounds like one you guys, as leader, is about to bring back from the ancient days because it's never been contested. And technically, we are the child of England, and we still have a decent relationship with them. So maybe that's why y'all leader is acting like a king, but also using his divine right under Christianity. I'm reading about the King James author of the King, he's responsible for the King James Bible. So if any of the Christians are saying, girl, you lying, Google King James, the Protestant leader. That's all I typed in. Key aspects of his Protestant leadership. Head of the church, which explains why he gave divine rights to the king. As the King of England, James became the supreme governor of the Church of England. The supreme governor of the church sounds like Christianity and politics have always, from the days of the West's inception, gone hand in goddamn hand. Sounds that way. Sounds like they were always that way. So when people cry and complain these days, it just tells me that you guys have been left behind and the rapture is over here. Moderation and compromise. He tried to find a middle ground between Catholics and Puritans. Puritans are the early settlers of the United States. Puritan pilgrims, you say? But the early settlers of the United States were also slave owners. So maybe that's how Black people became also Puritans, Puritan Christians. Just so happened those same settlers also previously were in other parts of the world before they settled. You know, Africa and all kind of things. That's kind of where they got their labor force from. So maybe they left something behind over there too. The same thing that they gave us over here. He tried to find a middle ground between Catholics and Puritans, famously holding the Hampton Court Conference in 1604 to address Puritan grievances, which led to the King James Version. It's right there. The next is the King James Version. His most significant religious legacy was authorizing the translation of the Bible into English, a Protestant work aiming for clarity and unity between Catholicism and Puritans. In Scotland, he was initially a convinced Presbyterian. I know some Black Presbyterians. Mhm. I do. It's a lot of Presbyterian churches around here. Baptist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Church of Christ. In Scotland, he was initially a convinced Presbyterian. You mean a Christian denomination in Scotland? Wow. Wow. Liv, you be on it. But later imposed some English practices like kneeling at communion. You know, like they tell you to get on your knees and pray. It says he imposed some English practices like kneeling at communion through the 5 Articles of Perth, causing frictions. He skillfully managed conflicting Protestant and Catholic nobles in Scotland and faced pressure from both Puritans seeking reform and Catholics seeking toleration in England. Puritans. Puritan versus Protestant. Let's see. Puritans are Protestants, specifically a branch that sought to purify the Church of England of remaining Catholic elements because the church came from Rome. Puritans wanted to rid themselves of some of the rituals that Catholicism did, believing the Reformation didn't go the church, stemming from Martin Luther's movement. That's not Martin Luther King Jr., that's the King James that we just talked about. So, Protestant is the broader category of Christians that most of us fell in, who broke from the Catholic Church, but broke from the Catholic Church, meaning still just a severed leg. Puritans emphasize strict biblical living. One second, you guys. Ugh. My bad. Okay. Okay. All right. Where was I? Puritans emphasized strict biblical living, simpler worship, and moral rigor, leading them to dissent, establish colonies in America. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, y'all was connected to. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, she was at the door. I had to let her in. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Okay, okay. Yes. Listen, I cooked, so expect company. Okay, so it says the Puritans emphasized strict biblical living, like most of our pastors have, simpler worship instead of the rituals of Catholicism, moral rigor, leading them to dissent, establish colonies in America, and influence U.S. institutions. Okay. So I only brought that up to show why I would say that Christianity would be used, because for the people who aren't familiar with its history, you would think, no, this is so wrong. He's hijacking hijacking the church, and this is a different version. No, no, you just don't know no better. And that's a shame because it's very, very, very much late in the game. And catch up will be brutal when it's so much other stuff, like survival for most of y'all. So that's what I got for ice. They will do what they're supposed to do, and they are coming for the darker hue. Baby steps, though. There's levels to this. It's psychology to this. By force, we are strong. So, spiritual and psychological warfare wins every time. Again, y'all, be careful, walk light, stay safe, and watch out for neighbors too. For those of you guys who are already walking light, because ICE is already targeting your people, careful with, your neighbors and stuff like that. Not the ones that look like this though. You might be safe with them. Wherever y'all congregate in public places, careful. Because in my opinion, people just randomly volunteering themselves to, hey, I'm not sure, but it's probably nothing, but hey, I'm a patriot. My husband, he's a retired veteran. We donate to the Cancer Society, and we also have a black um, lawn guy. So we're pretty liberal. And so don't think that we're calling to, be a Karen or anything. We're pretty liberal. We also have a gay nephew. So, you know, I just wanted to, I was driving by a Taco Bell and I wasn't sure, but I thought I saw, y'all be careful. Because when they see y'all getting bust up, they're going to be standing out there appalled. Oh, honey, look what happened. Look what happened to the Rodriguezes. Oh my God, I wonder how they even found them there. Yeah, Karen, I wonder who. It's just because they're so nice, such nice people. I would have never thought that they didn't have their documents. How did they even know that this was going on in our neighborhood? Well, my God, I'm gonna pray for them at church this Sunday. I'm definitely gonna, you know, bring them up before the Lord. I'm gonna bring them up before the Lord. My God, I just hope they know Jesus. Those Mexicans, I hope they know Jesus. Stay safe, you guys. Members, we in the members live.